Good evening. The word of the day is remodel. We've been remodeling our house, at least my wife has. She's making over her kitchen and the dining room. This process has reminded me of something that happened when I was a much younger man. In the summertime, when I was in high school and college, I would go and work where my dad worked. His boss man was fairly well off, but he was also known for squeezing a penny until it cried. And he went to redo a building, and he found out that he could get a remodeling permit cheaper than he could get a new construction permit. So he got a remodeling permit, built a wall all the way around this building that he had, then put trusses all the way across the walls that he built around this building, and took a small bulldozer and went inside those walls and tore the old building down. Well, in the middle of this process, he found out that he had to have a firewall between the building that he built and the one right next to it. And the only way he could have a firewall was to fill it with sand. So I spent a couple of days one summer carrying 5-gallon buckets of sand across the top of this building and pouring it down this concrete block wall to get a firewall that met the standards that it had to meet. It was about 98 degrees one of those days when I was carrying those buckets of sand across that building. Remember, I said I was working at the same place where my dad worked. So I had two bosses. I had the man who owned the place and my dad. So there wasn't no talking back or saying this is not what you need to do. It was just, we got to do this or I would be in trouble in two ways. I remember one of those days I lost 10 pounds. I sweated it off in one day. Remodeling can be difficult. Sometimes you have to have a lot of thought put into the process. Now, our house remodel, my wife has put a lot of thought into it, and she's put a lot of work into the process. And I'm glad that she's put all that work into it, because I don't know if she could have got it done without all that work, because I think it would have been a whole lot simpler just to hire somebody to do the whole thing. It would have been more expensive, but it'd have been simpler. Anyway, remodeling is a process. Sometimes we need to remodel things other than our house. Sometimes we need to remodel our lives. If you need to change something about your life and remodel it, there's a few things you need to remember. Number one, it can be very difficult. Carrying buckets of sand across a building was difficult. Getting things just right, remodeling our house a few times has been difficult. Number two, you need a plan. Before we started, my wife worked figuring out just what she wanted and how she could do it and how much it would cost. Number three, it may cost you a little something to remodel your life. But in the fourth place, if you can make the change, if you can get the remodeling done and it's a good result, it'll be worth all the process, the planning, and the cost. Make sure you get a plan. Make sure you carry it out. Make sure you're willing to pay the cost, and you'll come out better in the end. Have a great day.